Hi everybody, I'm Mrs. B and I'm here today to give you a bit of an exciting but different lesson to what I'm used to showing you. Now, it's probably something more so for the adults or the parents that are watching because we do use a hot glue gun for this task. So young kids, please make sure that if you want to have a go at this task that you ask your parent or your guardian to help you out because hot glue guns can be dangerous. Now today I'm going to show you how to actually create this really beautiful floral letter that can be used to decorate someone's room. So I used to actually create these with a little business called Playing in the Sand, and I would do Saturday markets. I would make heaps of these, all different letters, all different colours, and I'd wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning every Saturday, set up my marquee, set up all my floral things, including these floral crowns, just like this one. And I would set up my market and there would be flowers everywhere, and I'd spend about 4 or 5 hours, sometimes in the pouring rain and wind and cold of Melbourne, trying to sell the stuff that I've created. Now, I did actually really enjoy it. I'm very much a creative type, so I like making things. I did stop doing the markets once I got pregnant with my second child, and so I do have actually a whole bunch of letters with flowers all over them that I can't use, so if you want to buy them, let me know. But I wanted to show you how to create your very own floral letter because I do get a lot of comments about the floral headwear and the letters. So I thought I'd show you, and I thought I'd give you a few tips and a few tricks that I've learned throughout the years so that you can create your very own floral letter if you want to. And I'll even throw in a bonus little extra using pom-poms as well.
So the idea today is to use these small little artificial flowers and glue them on in a decorative way to cover a wooden sort of letter here. Now, I used to do this, as mentioned, for markets and trying to sell them online. And this is the idea. You can see that the letter is clearly sort of pictured there, and it's a nice personalised kind of gift. And I actually have quite a few that I still have from when I had my markets. So I'll just show you a few that I've done just to give you some inspiration. And in the event that you actually like any of the ones I'm showing you today, they are for sale, so please feel free to shoot me a message in the comments below. They're 35 Australian dollars each, and these ones that you see are for sale, so please let me know if you're interested in the comments below and I can organise postage. For today's flower letter task, you will need a hot glue gun with some little glue sticks as well. You'll need some small artificial flowers like the ones here, and you'll also need a wooden letter, and that's what we're going to glue everything onto. You do need something quite strong. I get these ones from Spotlight or Kaiser Craft, as you can see there, and it's made out of chipboard, so it is very strong to glue onto. Otherwise, these ones are from Kmart. They're a little bit smaller, they are cheaper, but they act as a great base as well. I'm also going to show you an alternative today. Instead of using artificial flowers, you might choose to use some pom-poms. Now, I get this packet from Zara, which is a fantastic art company. I've got in the description below. You can see there's lots of different sizes and colours. They come in warm colours and they also come in cool colours. So this is a much easier task if you'd like to start off a little bit more simple. So grab some pom-poms if you prefer, and I'll show you how to do that toward the end. Now, when it comes to choosing your flowers, you might have noticed at the start I said small artificial flowers. That's something I've learned with doing this task over and over and over again, that if you have a really large flower, it takes up too much of the space and you're not able to see the clear letter. So I definitely suggest not using ones that are too big. The smaller the better, and you can make it really detailed. So grab your small flowers and you need to sort of take them off their stems. We don't need the stems, we just need the top of the flower. So I pull them off just like that so that they're an individual flower. Obviously you can choose your own colour scheme. The little girl that I'm doing this for today, her name is Alia, and her room is really brightly coloured. So her mum, who is a good friend of mine, has asked for purples and pinks and sort of minty greens, and so that's the colour scheme I'm working with today. When it comes to buying the flowers, I use sort of a mixture of sort of cheaper ones and more expensive ones. You can tell the difference when looking at them closely. However, when you put them together, you can't really tell. So I suggest maybe spending a little bit of money on some sort of nicer ones, maybe from Spotlight or Kaisercraft, like these ones here. And then just going to a $2 shop and getting just a bunch of sort of cheaper $2 ones, just to fill in little sections. Now, don't throw out the leaves. We're actually going to use the leaves first in giving our wooden base a bit of a base coat, I guess, in putting some leaves down so that we can see something sort of natural rather than the wood underneath. So I'm going to use pom-poms for this E later for my little niece called Eden. However, I'm going to show you how to do the flowers on this A. So as I said, you need the leaves first, and it's all about arranging today. I can't show you exactly what to do today. I'm going to give you the strategy so that you can try to do this task yourself. But I did find that the more I did this, the better I got. So definitely I encourage you to have a go and just check out sort of what works for you and what you prefer. So now I'm sort of just arranging some leaves. Notice I'm not doing them too large. The leaves are not actually covering the entire area. They're just sort of getting these little sections here green rather than brown. So I find it helps to have a piece of paper underneath your letter, just because otherwise you might get some glue on your table. So when I attach everything, I generally try to put the glue on the wooden piece here. I'm just going to press it down. Notice I'm using a fair amount of glue, and you need to work quickly because it dries. Making sure that you're getting right to the edges, because we're going to be sticking flowers on top, so this needs to be solid. And then when I'm gluing again, you need to glue on top. I'm working with the direction of the letter. If you've got an S, you'll obviously do it a bit more curved. I'm working with this diagonal line here. You're going to have a lot of these little stringy bits. Don't worry about them for now. You have to consider this as a bit of a base coat. It's really just, it probably will get completely covered, but I like to do it anyway. Wonderful. All right, so now I normally start with whatever flowers I have that are sort of the biggest or the nicest, the ones that we want them to sort of stand out the most on our letter. So any sort of bigger ones that you might have, maybe sort of place them down first to see where you might like them to go. And then the smaller ones will kind of slot in underneath and fill spaces. You might choose to do a different type of design. I know before I've done a bit of an ombre, so you might start off light and then get darker as you go down. That looks really beautiful. I've done that before. But what you have to consider is that when you glue, just consider the angle of the letter and also the angle of the flower. So I've got mine on the side there. That probably means that I need another one to sort of go and tuck in, to sort of hide the bits that are sticking out there. Can you see that? You can see that that one's just too big to have flat. I do need to sort of have it on the side. What I'm doing now is just gluing the two flowers together so they sit nicely. Now in the sections that you can see this sort of green part there, I can see that this area is a little bit bare. So what I do there is find a nice little flower, something like this, or a height range sort of flower is fantastic for these middle sections. So pop a bit of glue in there and just push
the new flower as far as it'll go. You can see that. It sort of just fills the space and it looks lovely. I might do another one just in there. Looking good so far. I hope yours is too. You know, whenever I'm doing an artwork, I always say, what can you add? What detail can you add? It's really the same with this. The more detailed you make your letter, you know, the more interesting it will be. And I think the better outcome that you'll have. Now when I'm sticking things down, as you'll notice, I'm using the direction of the letter. Otherwise, the letter will get hidden. The name of the business that I used to do all these flowers and floral things, I used to make floral headwear as well, was called Playing in the Sand. And I got the saying from a friend of mine who said, if you do what you love, work is like playing in the sand. Which I find so profound, and as soon as he said that I was just like, yeah. You know, and so I wanted to use my creativity. Obviously, I do that in my art teaching job, but I sort of thought to do that outside of work as well. And I thought, yeah, you know, if you do what you love, work is like playing in the sand. So that's why I called my company Playing in the Sand, I guess. Because I do enjoy this, and I hope you do too. It is very therapeutic. It's creative. I just love to create, and so making this is like just playing in the sand for me. It's super fun. What you might be noticing is, you know, I might choose a flower, but it might not be the right color, it might not be the right size. So you need to sort of swap some out, see how it looks until you get the one that suits the best, and you can lock it in with your glue. I've got these beautiful sort of lavender flowers, and I think they'll work really well for this small section. You know, an A is tricky because you've got this thicker section, it is the easier part. But then in the smaller sections, you can't use these sort of big flowers because they take up too much space. So you do need a lot of smaller flowers for these letters that have smaller sections. Please make sure that you're using enough hot glue. You know, you don't want to see the glue, but you definitely need to use enough because the flowers do fall off, especially if you don't stick them down right. So please try to use as much glue as you can sort of as you're going along, because it is hard to glue them back once they fall off. We don't want them to fall off. So what I'm doing now is get a bit of glue for the base of this lavender, sticking it here, and then I want it to act as though it's coming across here. So I do need to carefully put a little amount of glue just on the tip of the lavender here and stick it to these flowers, hold it in place for a little while till it dries, and you can see that it acts as sort of the line across the A there. Now, although this A is filled, I need to consider it from all different angles. So you need to look on this side just to make sure that it's nice and neat, which it is. Now I need to look on this side. This side's a little bit different. You don't want to see these bits here. So what I would aim to do now is just use a flower to sort of cover that section there. You might need to cut into the flower for it to sit the way you want it to. together. So I'm happy with this finished product now, and the last thing to do is just add a bit of string to the top here so that it can hang up by a hook on a wall or a door. So I'm just going to do that. I'm using just a piece of gold cord here. My friend has a bit of gold elements within Alia's room, so I'm just going to add the cord by attaching a whole lot of glue to my A on the side here, and we want to hold this down to secure it in place while the glue dries. We want this cord to be fairly secure because it's holding the whole weight of the decoration there. So that's good. And then we want it on the same sort of spot on the other side. Obviously, depending on the letter will depend on where you sort of need to glue it, but I need to hold that in place to make sure that stays, or even push it down. Yeah, so that will hang like that. Hope you've enjoyed making a floral letter today. What I'm thinking to do now is I'm going to use my small E from Kmart here and show you a similar technique. However, this time I'm going to use some pom-poms. Alright, so the pom-pom version of this task is a lot simpler. Sticking the flowers is a little bit tricky. You need to think about your angles and things like that with the flowers. However, with pom-poms, it's just one continuous shape. But I do suggest that instead of having some big, some small, like that, just to try to keep to a similar size throughout the entire sort of artwork there. That way it's nice and flat rather than too bumpy, if that makes sense. So I'm going to stick to these two sizes. And when I'm doing it, I'm obviously just picking out the colours that I want. I suggest having all your pom-poms in a bit of a tray. So I've organised all my pom-poms here. Now you just have to consider your design. The design might just be random, so whatever colours next to each other. However, I'm going to try to do a bit of an ombre kind of blended design. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to start off with my sort of yellow tones. I'm going to move down to orange, to red, I'm going to go to the pink, and then end with purple like that. So I'm going to stick down some yellows. I'm going to start from the top and work my way down. Now anyone can do this task, anyone pretty much that you trust and is old enough to use a hot glue gun can do this. So you're just putting a small dab of hot glue down onto the base, and when you're gluing a new pom-pom, glue it quite close to the one next to it. You don't want gaps like that. I'm going to vary the size a little bit. Sort of push it down as I go along. To crafty activities using your hot glue gun and some letters. So it's as simple as that. I really hope you've enjoyed using flowers today to create and decorate a floral letter, and I'd love to see anything that you've created, so please tag me at ArtLife Art Lessons on Facebook or at artlife.melb on Instagram, because I really would love to see the things that you're coming up with and the things that you do with the lessons I put up online. Please make sure that you check out all the other lessons that I have here at ArtLife. If you just click my face, you'll be able to see all the videos that I've created in the past. Make sure you watch them and give me a thumbs up if you like them. Thanks so much for joining me today. See you later.